In this today's session, we are going to discuss about that Azure SQL database overview. So the overview of Azure SQL database, actually the Azure SQL database, so we can call it like a SQL database as a service, platform as a service. So we can call it like a SQL database as a service or platform as a service. So here this SQL server, the Azure SQL database, it is using that SQL Server database engine only. That on-premises SQL Server engine we are using, right? The same one here, so it is using. So the flavors of this SQL database, the Cloud SQL database, we are having two types of flavors. One is that Azure SQL database, another one is a SQL virtual machine. Azure SQL database, it's a platform as a service. SQL virtual machine, it's infrastructure as a service. So if you are using that SQL virtual machine, you have to install that Azure SQL, the SQL software, you can install it. Azure SQL database, if you are creating means directly database will be created under the server. The server also you have to create. The features of Azure SQL database, we are having business continuity and high availability, auditing, integration with the Power BI, dynamic data masking, elastic pools, flexible pricing configuration, Azure hybrid benefits. The business continuity and high availability, usually we will use it. The disaster, if anything happened, for the secondary, we are going to use this business continuity and high availability. Secondary database, we will use it. Auditing, for the tracking purpose, we are going to use it. Who are login into that our portal, that means database, and accessing what type of queries, what type of actions they have executed in that portal. So everything we can track it. Integration with the Power BI. Here, the integration with the Power BI, actually the SQL database, we are going to have the data in the table data, if you want to use it. So the data, if you want to use it as a source for the Power BI, yes, we can use it. So Power BI, we can integrate with that our SQL database. Dynamic data masking concept, here we are going to use this one to hide that personal informations, the sensitive informations. If you want to hide it, means you can go with the dynamic data masking. For example, so account number, credit card number, passport number, SSN number, this type of information. So we can use that dynamic data masking. We can hide that sensitive information. Elastic pools, we are going to use it for the distribution, the compute, distribute to the compute. The elastic pools concept, you will get to know that when the hands-on. So when you're going to the hands-on, that time you will understand. Same flexible pricing configuration, the compute system configuration. We can choose which type of configuration we want to use it. The Azure hybrid benefit, suppose if you are using that on-premises license, SQL Server license, the same one, suppose when you are migrating into the cloud, if you want to use the same license in the cloud, yes, we can use it. So this type of features are there. Let's see very detailed. Okay. First, we'll see that one, how we can create the Azure SQL database in the portal. For the learning purpose, actually, we are going to create that SQL server. The SQL server learning purpose, if you want to create means, you can create the sandbox server. Using the sandbox server, if you are creating SQL server means, it will be free. But that one, it will be available, that server, it will be available only for the 4 hours since they are providing only for the learning purpose. So once you created that sandbox server, then you can log in into the portal. The portal username, that's our URL name, the portal.azure.com. Once you logged in here, the landing page, it will be like this first time. If you don't have that any If you don't have that any proper subscription, but first time it will show like this one only. Sandbox server, if you activated, so we can create that our SQL Server database. So that part, everything I will show you here in the hands-on part. So directly get into that our portal. Here, the URL actually, this is the URL. I'm going to use it for creating that server, that sandbox server. So we have to select this one, two stones. Yes. So here it is asking the review permission. Already I have logged in into that my learning Microsoft page. Okay. So I have logged in. So using that your login credentials, you have to log in into that your learning page. That URL also I will share it to you. That ID should be registered with the Microsoft page first. Okay. Then only you can create this sandbox server. So again, so checking sandbox availability. So it will create that sandbox. So for this one, you don't need the subscription which you have created using that credit card. Because we are going to use the sandbox server. So sandbox server, if you are going to use that means that ID, what you are going to use it, that ID, it should be registered with the Microsoft websites. So first time actually, if you are using means it will ask to register. So then you can create the server like this. Sandbox now it is activated. Sandbox is activated. Per day you can use 10 sandboxes. Per day you can use 10 sandboxes. One sandbox it will be available for the 4 hours. For the 4 hours it will be available. So for the 4 hours, so you can log in into that your Azure portal. See here, the link is available. If you click this one, it will be navigated to the Azure portal, the portal.azure.com. And in the user icon, you can see this one, the Microsoft Learn Sandbox. It should be selected this one. It should be selected this one. Then only this landing page you will get it. If you are seeing this Microsoft Learn Sandbox here, it means you are in the sandbox server. You have logged in into the portal using the sandbox server. Now, I want to create that my SQL database. SQL database. First time if you are going to create the resources in the Azure portal. Once you logged in into the Azure portal, you can see some of the icons like this in the landing page. The landing page, you can see some of the icons. First time if you are using means the default landing page is available here. Usually here, the landing pages, what it will be show means the frequently recently used to resources, it will list out here. And again, the sandbox we are using, the sandbox if you are using means we are having some restrictions. We cannot create all the resources in this sandbox server. We are having some limitations. For example, if you want to create the data factories, or if you want to create the Azure Synapse Analytics, it will not allow to create these resources in this sandbox server. It will allow to create only in that our free trial or pay as you go subscription. The sandbox server, it will not allow. But SQL database, if you want to use it means, it will allow to create the SQL database. Suppose the SQL database is not listing out in this landing page. all the services we cannot expect to display here. But lot of resources are there. Lot of resources are there. So here, so here, if you want to create that resource which is not listing out here, you can search it. For example, SQL database, if it is not listing out means you can search it from here, from this search box, from this search box. Okay. So I'm going to search that one like this. It will be navigated to this. From here, we can create the database. I'm going to create the database. So click this database. Create SQL database. Create SQL database. So it will be navigated to this page. Here, you can see the subscription. Every resource you have to create under that one of the subscription only. Based on that resource usages, they will charge the billing amount under that subscription. So without choosing the subscription, we cannot create any resource. Now we are using that sandbox server. The sandbox server, they are providing for the learning purpose. The sandbox server subscription name, the default one, this is the one, the concierge subscription. This one also, you cannot change it now. And the resource group, usually in the real time, every resources we will create under that one resource group. The resource group. The resource group, for example, development environment, testing environment, production environment. Each one we can have that separate resource group. Same, that our free trial or that pay as you go subscription. We can create that our own resource group. But again, here in the sandbox server, they are not allowing to create any resource group. Already predefined resource group will be there. You have to choose that one. So that one I have selected, and here I'm going to create that my database. My database, which name you want to create? Which name you want to create? The database name. So the database name or a project related name you can provide. As of now, I'm going to create the demo DB. The demo DB. When you are creating the database, you should remember the database if you are creating means the database should be created under the server. As of now, I don't have that any server. So here we have to create the server. By clicking this create new, you can create the new server. So I'm going to create that one server in the name of SQL Server Siva. The name of SQL Server Siva. And location. Every resource should be created in one of the data center. Microsoft actually, they are having the data center globally. Your resources should be created one of the data center. That data center, the location, you can choose it from here. Usually this data center location, we have to choose it based on that our customer. where they are where they are available, from where they are going to use these databases. Based on that one, we have to choose that our location. As of now, I'm going to leave that default one, that East US. Authentication method, I'm going to choose that one, SQL Server Authentication. The SQL Server Authentication. SQL Server Authentication need the admin user. So I'm creating that one admin user in this name and password for the admin user. Here, confirm the password. Click OK. So now we are creating the server in this name. The server is available. The server is available. And are we going to use that elastic pool? As of now, no. We don't know that concept as of now. So we can leave that default no option. And workload environment, this is the one we are going to create for the development purpose. So you can choose that development. Suppose if you are going to create this database for the production, you can go with the production. So production, so they are charging this amount per month, $266 US dollar. So we can use it, the development, for the development and testing purpose. And this compute storage, as of now, we can leave it as it is. We have to discuss detailedly. We will discuss very detailedly about this compute storage features, when and what we have to choose it, because different compute storage features are there. The service tiers, different service tiers are there. vCore based purchasing model, DTU based purchasing model there. What it is, when we have to choose, when and what we have to choose. All the part we will discuss. As of now, it will be advanced level, so we can leave it the default one. And backup storage redundancy. The backup storage redundancy, same, leave it as it is. So now what I'm doing, just I'm creating that one database in the name of DemoDB. So I need the server so that I have created the server in this name, in this location. So now my database will be created in this data center, East US data center. The rest all are, as of now, I'm not going to select anything, leave it as it is. So click the review plus create and click the create. The database deployment is in progress. So database will be created in this name. Sorry, database server will be created in this name. So in this server, our database DemoDB will be created. So once the database is created, means we can create that our table inside of that our database. So for creating that our database table and inserting the record into the database table, selection. So that means for writing the queries, we are going to use the SQL query to interact with that our database and database tables, right? So if you are going to use the queries, means we need that query editor window. We need that query editor window. So the query editor window, future it is available once you created that our database. So our server is ready. Now our database, it is in progress. This will take some time. We'll wait for it. Meanwhile, I will share that URL in the chat window. This is the URL. This is the URL. Okay, so I hope you received the message in the chat window. So this is the URL. From here, you can create that our sandbox server. After creating the sandbox server, you can come into the Azure portal. So this link, if you click this one, means it will be navigated to that our Azure portal. Now our database is ready. Click the go to resource. Click the go to resource. Here, the overview page, you can see the details. What is the resource group? What is the server name? Actually, server name, it will be like this. The name what you have given. The name.database.windows.net. The name.database.windows.net. And status is online. That means it is active. The pricing tier, location. So that subscription, everything. So it will be showing whatever we have selected when we are creating. So now, again, I'm telling you, little bit it will be advanced to you since you are looking the first time. So just leave it as it is. But now we have created that our SQL database. This is the database, that demo database. Okay. So here it is available. In the left side, you can see that query editor. The left side, you can see that query editor. I will open that one in the separate tab, open link in new tab. Open it. The query editor window will be opened. It will ask to log in into that your server. Because this database is available in this server, the server we are having that credentials, that admin credential as of now we are having. Here, you have to provide that admin Siva username and password, what you have given when you are creating that your server. That password you have to provide. Click OK. Now it will show some message. I'm not able to log in. So one thing you can understand here, even if you are creating that your SQL Server database, if you are trying to log in into that one, by default, directly it will not allow it, because when I was creating that my database, I did not set that any security permissions. Directly I have created by default your server access, it will be denied for the public access. No one can access it by login. So this is the first step. If you are creating that your database means your server network access by default, it will be disabled because when I was creating the database, I did not do that any of the network security features. But we have to enable it. We have to enable it. How? In the demo database overview, you can see that firewall setting option. Click this firewall setting, set server firewall. The public network access is disabled now so that I'm not able to log in into that my server. I'm not able to log in into the server because of this network access feature is disabled by default. You have to choose the selected networks and the firewall rules you have to add. This firewall rules, you have to add your client IPv4, client IP number, you have to add it. From which system you are going to connect, you are going to log in into that your SQL server, that Azure SQL server, that system IP should be added here. Then only you can connect to that your server. By default, sometimes it will take that your IP properly, but here it is not taken. So you have to add that IP here, the client IP address. So rule number one, your system, from which system you are going to log in, that system IP, you have to mention it here. But my system IP, I don't know what it is. Okay. So here, simply I'm going to search it in the Google. What is my IP address? So it will show that my system IP address. So this is my system IP address. So I'm going to copy this one. This IP, I'm going to add it here, starting and ending, the same one I'm going to use it. As of now, I have added on rule for the firewall. This IP can be allowed to connect with this server. What is the exception? As of now, I'm leaving as it is. I don't need this one. Later, I will tell you why and when. Click the save, the updating server. Right. Now come again. Click the OK. Now it should allow to log in into that my database server. Yes. I'm inside of this SQL Server Siva demo DB database. I have logged in as the admin Siva. In the left side, you can see three folders, the tables. Under the tables, you can see that all the table, whatever you have created. Under the views, you can see that all the views and store procedure. You can see under the store procedure folder. As of now, we did not create that any of the objects so that it is showing everything is a blank. And now by writing the query, you can create that table. So I'm going to create that one table. For creating that table query, we have to use that one create table name. This is syntax. Create table name. So this table name should have the columns. So I'm going to have the column customer ID, integer, data type, customer name. It is going to be string. So for the string here, data type is called varchar and size of that one. And customer location. So it is going to be that something like this. So I'm creating that one table in the name of cust. This table is going to have the three columns. One is the CID, customer ID. Another one is the customer name, then customer location. So for totally, we are going to have three columns. Customer ID column going to have that integer number. That's what the data type I have mentioned, that int. And customer name and customer location going to have that string values like a names, city name, country name, like that. Customer name, customer location name. These all are the string data type. That's what I have used that varchar data type. This is a query for creating the table. And click the run. The table should be created. Query succeeded. The table should be created. You can refresh this one, and under the tables folder, you can see the table. Yes, my table is available. So I have created the table now. The table is available. The table I have mentioned the cust, but here it is created like a dbo.cust. This dbo is called schema. This dbo is called schema. So this is a default schema. This is a default schema. Whether you are mentioning or not, when you are creating the table, the schema will be used dbo. So default schema name dbo. In the database, default schema name is dbo. Okay. So here, I have created the table. Table is available. Now I want to insert the record into the table. So for inserting a record into the table, you have to use this one, insert into table name. Table name. Our table name is cust and values. What values we are going to insert? We have to provide the values based on that our column. What is the first column? ID. ID I want to pass. What is ID? 1. What is ID? 1. And name. Customer name. So customer location. Right? This is the way we have to insert the records. This will insert one record. So select this query alone. Because already this query we have executed and we have created the table. We have created the table. So this time, if I'm executing without selecting any query, it will throw the error because this query also will get executed because it is located in the first place. So all the statements, everything, it will be executed. If this query statement is getting executed, it will throw the error because the customer table is already created. So again, it will try to create in the same name. That's what it will throw the error. But I want to run this query. One thing you can do it, you can comment this statement which already executed. You can comment. For commenting, you can use the double hyphen. Double hyphen, if you're using, means it's a comment line. Comment line will not execute. Comment line will not execute. Now I can select the run. This time, this insert query only will get executed. Click this one. Query succeeded. Affected rows 1. One row inserted. How I can see the data after inserting the record? Again, we need that SQL query. Again, we need that SQL query. SQL query, select query. I want to use it. Select. I'm going to select the column from my table. What are the columns? Actually, in my table, I'm having 3 columns. What are the columns? Customer ID, customer name, customer location. Like this, I'm having 3 columns. All these 3 columns I want to select from my table. From what is the table name? First. That's it. I want to run this statement alone. I don't want to run my previous statement. Suppose the particular statement alone, if you want to run it, means when you are having multiple statements, so that statement which you want to run it, that statement alone, you can select it and then you can click the run. Select it and then you can click the run. Now it's selected the 3 columns, CID, CNAME, C location. As of now, I'm having that only one record, that one record showing here. Yes. This is the way you have to select the records from the column, so from the table. Select mentioning the column name, you can select the records from the table. Here I'm mentioning that all 3 columns, right? So if you are going to select all the columns, instead of mentioning the column name, you can put the star also from the table first. Select star from cust. You can run it. Yes, same result only going to be there. The same result. So select star from customer. Here the star is representing. The star is representing all columns. All columns. Suppose if I want to select only the particular column, I want to select only the C name and the C location. I don't want to select that ID. So I want to select only that name and location. Yes, you can execute it like this. It will select only the 2 columns. Only the 2 columns. So the column name you can mention after the select keyword. So what are the column name you are mentioning? That column name only will be selected and output. Right? So the insert statement, we have used this one, right? The insert statement. That insert into customer values. I'm going to insert another record. I'm going to insert another record. To insert into customer values. Again, if I'm executing the statements, it will insert only one record. It will insert only one record. Suppose multiple record if you want to insert means after this close bracket, you can put the comma. One more bracket you can open and close it. Here, you can mention that the third record values. Suppose one more if you want to use it, put the comma and within the bracket, give that values. Right? Like this, you can insert multiple records. This is one of the way for inserting multiple records. Execute it. Now, affected rows 3. Affected rows 3. See, this time, select star from that table name, run it, should be 4 records. Should be 4 records. Suppose if you are going to insert multiple records, and this is the way also you can insert. So here, the insert into customer values 4, 5, 5, the name. One more insert, you can write it like this. This is the way also you can insert multiple records. So this time, two records should be inserted, two rows. So I'm selecting all the records. Select star from first. Run it. You can see that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So this is the way we can insert the records into that our SQL table. So that SQL database, Azure SQL database, we can create using the query editor window. We can write the queries. By writing the queries, we can create the table. By writing the queries, we can insert the records. By writing the queries, we can select the records from the table. How we are going to select the records? Whether you are going to select all the records, you can use a star. Or else you can use that all the column names. Suppose if you want to select only the particular column means, you can select the particular column names. You got it? So this is the way we can create that our Azure SQL database inside of that our Azure portal. So this is what actually we have selected. We have to select the resource, this resource selection. What are the resource we are going to select? Usually the landing page I shown you this one, right? So from here, we have filtered that our resource what we want to select, right? This is one of the way for selecting the resource. Or else in the left side, you can see 3 line. By clicking this one, so the default some favorites resources are there. So these resources, so by default selected like a favorites one. So from here, so you can check it whether that resource what you are going to be created, that resource is available as favorite one here or not. If it is available means from here, you can select that one. So SQL database, it is available here. So you can select it, right? Suppose the Azure Synapse, for example, if you are going to create the Azure Synapse, if you are going to create, but the Azure Synapse is not available in that our favorites one, right? It is not available in that our favorites one. So here, here by clicking this one, create, what you can do it, you can create that one. You can create that one because it is not available in that one, right? So if it is not available in that one, if it is not available in that one means that our resources, that our all the resources, go to the all resources area. So here actually you can choose that one, whatever you have created. Whatever you have created, all the resources. But the new resources, if you want to create means, the new resources, if you want to create means, same 3 icon, and you can click this create resource option. Click this one. It will be navigate to the marketplace. In this marketplace, you can see that all the resources categories wise, you can see it here. The storages, lot of storage types are there. Everyone they are using the different purpose. We are going to use that our blob storage and we are going to use that our data lake storage. So both are available in that our storage accounts. Suppose databases, if you are going to select, so a lot of databases are there. The integration tools, data factories that are integration tool. So it will be available here. So logic apps, it's available here. So from here, you can choose that resource what you are going to create. You can choose that resource what you are going to create. Suppose if you want to create the data fact sheet from here itself, you can click that create data fact sheet, this option, the data fact sheet. Okay, so create data fact sheet option. So this is one of the way. Another way, click this more services. Click this more services. In this more services, same, it will be navigated to the same service page, the all services page. So from here, you can choose the type, the category type. Within that one, what you want to select, that one you can select. So one of this way, you can create that resources, Go to the home. Here, it will be available. The recent used resources, it will be available here. In the Azure services, recently created resources, it will be showed here. Okay, so the resource, usually we will select from here. We'll select from here. You can search it from the search box, whatever it is. Suppose if you want to create the keyword, you can click this one. Okay. Here, probably screen the public. Okay, fine. Okay. So this is the way we can create that our SQL database or any other resources. So we have selected like this, but directly we have selected from that our search box, and we have given that our default database name what we want to create, that name and server we have created. So then, the go to resource, once the deployment is completed, by clicking the go to resource, you can see that your database. This is what we have done it here. This is our database, this is our server. Okay. So this database, so what is the configuration? What is the DTU? Actually, when we are creating that one, so we have that feature, the configuration feature, compute and storage feature. I shown you, right? Two types of tags, service tags, vCore, so DTU based. So what is that one? So how we are going to use this one? This is all part actually. So we will discuss in that our next session. What is the DTU? What is a vCore? So these are all things we are going to select when we are creating that our database. As of now, we have choose the default one, what it is selected, right? So we can discuss about this one, different types of DTUs, different types of vCores. So this will we will discuss in that our next session. In the next session, we will discuss. Then we will discuss about that our elastic course concept. Got it? So that's all for the day. So we'll connect again in the next session, same time. Bye.